There's something about the past that's always with us. Something we can't touch. It's like the other realm. And we're always thinking, like, what came before us? What will come after us? And those things dominate our lives. But it's funny because everyday life, it's gnawing at our subconscious. You know what I'm talking about? I'm talking about bad decisions. I'm talking about apparitions. I'm talking about translucent white sheets. I'm talking about what's haunting you, bitches.
So I'm Dan.
And I'm Nick, folks.
We're old friends dissecting one topic at a time. People, technology, media, we've got it all covered.
Each discussion here is a deep dive into our unique perspective. The taboo, forbidden subjects, they're all on the chopping block, baby. We don't pander to popular opinion. We might even get a little bit dirty.
Warning, this podcast may contain mature language and sexual content and is for infotainment purposes only.
So join us. Have a good time.
Open up your ear holes, because we're going to fondle your follicles.
Fondle your follicles. It's entering the upper atmosphere. All right. Yes, it's been quite a while, and I'm Dan, and
I'm Nick, folks.
wow,
Interesting. Look at my settings. This is
fantastic.
where I usually record.
Lost the dresser,
I did.
and we are the
No,
unpanders.
just in the other room.
Oh,
Yes, we are.
Yeah. New
Feel
headset,
good.
new earpieces.
New headset. Old one broke. Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Strange
things
how that
happen.
happens.
It's like magical or mystical.
God damn it. That's that line. Never mind. Haunting.
So we're going to talk about hauntings, ghosts, apparitions, things like that we can't touch, we can't prove.
I want to vent because I'm distraught about two things.
Are you distraught? Please do.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
A, missing out on opportunities, making money in the stock market. When you're sitting there,
I knew it. Here you go.
I read this new term today that said, like, your foreshadowing of how an outcome will be, like the negative weight of it affects the current decision. It's not like, it's not you projecting risk, it's the pain of feeling past issues you've had and like reliving them before you have the action, before you take part of it in it.
So you're feeling grief and like loss before you can actually feel them?
Yeah. Missing the opportunity and then regretting that you missed the opportunity even though you were too regretful to take the opportunity. It's just a ball of regret.
Isn't that, though, what keeps us from doing dangerous things or risky things or stupid things?
I don't know that we weigh things properly. It's an emotional, purely emotional reaction, not based on fact, that we're scared of doing certain things. And that's how I felt like not taking action when I could have. And I could be like,
you could be 100 air.
Yeah, 100 air.
Could be 100 air.
Could be. Could be.
Could be, should be, would be, but you didn't. And you didn't take that risk. Now, would you say you also probably didn't take several other risks that didn't pan out so well? Or was that the only time you ever thought about doing something and you didn't do it?
I guess there are a few other ones, but that one pains me. I've got pangs from it.
It's what's it called? The bias, where you only think about the one that would have made you so much money?
Oh, it's the survivor's
bias.
Survivor's bias.
Something
survivorship
like that.
Bias.
So you're very focused on the one thing that would have made me so much money if I'd just done it. But there are millions of decisions you made every day that, not millions, I doubt you had that much time. Hundreds of decisions every day.
It's a
How many
decision.
decisions do you make in a day?
I don't know. I was thinking like there's 84,000 seconds in a day, so you're sleeping most of that. So you make a decision every second. You're not making a million. Unless you're...
No, but like, are your decisions multi-platformed? So are they multiple decisions when you make a decision?
When you come to a decision, yeah.
Yeah, it's like several decisions have been made at once in 1 second.
It's like the moment you wake up, you're like, is it morning? Is like, does that like follow a tree of all these like different neurons just like firing and not firing?
Is it morning? Is it light out? Should I wake up? Can I sleep longer? Do I have to do this? Is there snooze? Is there a work day? Is there a child screaming? Like, are they decisions or just kind of like reactions? Regardless, the ghost is what you're talking about. The haunting feeling that,
That's the only thing that really haunts me as an adult. Because do you believe in ghosts?
Nah, not really. As a kid, I guess I did. And this is crazy. Everyone has some of these stories. So one of my great aunts or whatever passed, and she had a cane, and one of the family members took it. I don't remember if it was like my Uncle Angelo or someone in my father's side of the family. Mm-hmm. Or no, maybe it was my mom's side. I can't remember. Anyway, someone had the cane. No one cares. But anyway, they had the cane. They put it up in their attic, and they swore they could hear it thumping.
Thumping.
Occasionally, every now and then. Dum, dum, like she was walking, because that's her with her cadence, too. Like, dum, dum, dum. So we got it in our house. I remember this. And one time, my mom was like hectic or frantic, and she was like panicked, and it was like really late at night. She was like, "Did you hear that thumping? Maybe it's the cane." And I was like, "What's the cane?" And she told me the story. She's like, "I think the cane." And I was like, "I don't like this. This feels really weird. I don't even want to think about it." Like, because I didn't believe in it, but I didn't like thinking about it either. Like, I was like, what if it is?
And the weird thing is, like, what's your fear of? Because your aunt was a good person, probably. I hope.
Sure.
She murdered 9 children.
She murdered children.
Children.
Got him. But I don't know what the fear is. I think it's just the fear that a dead person could come back and do something to a physical object.
I guess the assumption
Not even to me.
The assumption there is that the ghost if she exists, then other ghosts exist, and then are other ghosts going to come after you for your other wrong deeds that you obviously did when you murdered those 9 children?
Well, I guess you're asking the whole question of what would a ghost do to you? Do ghosts do anything to people? Has anyone ever been hurt by a ghost?
How do you prove?
I guess you wouldn't. Like, I guess also, if a ghost did kill someone, there'd be no evidence, so we wouldn't know if it ever happened, correct?
Unless we prove ghosts real and could find their evidence. The ghost murders of 2021.
Ghost murders. Yeah, I'm a ghost murder detective. Excuse me? I investigate whether deaths are, albeit, perpetrated by ghosts. Oh.
You've got some photoplasm on your lips right there.
Lips.
What happened when you were sleeping?
That anytime you open a mouth, a ghost could be giving you his...
That's what the ghosts are waiting for.
That's what they're waiting for.
That's why you talk with like this and don't open your mouth fully. You just keep your teeth clenched.
Do not yawn, folks. Ghosts are giving us the business. So what is the idea behind ghosts, too? Is it...
What's the scientific... I love those scientific paranormal investigators.
Shows? TV shows? Yeah.
Oh, I love the horror ones that are like... And not even like in a mockingly way. It's,
Paranormal Activity?
Yeah. And even like...
Have you seen them?
Conjuring. That one's a good one. Horror movies.
I don't watch those. This is going to sound weird.
I know, you're
I'm an adult. I'm scared of it. Yeah. I don't know. It'll make me scared. I don't know.
I don't understand why people don't like watching them. I'd like to be... Like, I get excited. Like, it's you think excited?
What are you feeling watching it?
I just like I like the mythos. It's just like
chase. Is there a chase element of whoa, maybe there's a little, what if it was real? Like, is that what you're thinking?
I think it's the possibility and then the rules that the possibility has to live by. Because like a good horror movie will set up these rules and like not break them. Like it might bend them a little bit. But like bad horror movies, like in the middle of this movie, like the ghost does something like, it can't turn back time, but it did. Like
yeah.
But what I love about those is like it's really a scientific discovery in the beginning. Because like someone has an experience, they don't know what it is, they have a hypothesis, they go ask somebody. Somebody's like usually a person of faith. The person of faith usually shoots them down.
Died here 44 years ago. Yeah.
The person of faith usually doesn't help them unless they're a scientific based like form of faith, which is also like part of my ego, I guess. And then they have to like record it, like they like take pictures or they have like thermal something.
Find a way to. Yeah, they have to. Noises. That is the cool part of those movies or shows or anything, where all of a sudden they're like, go back to that photo album from 1987, and you see them flipping through the book, and they open to a page, and it's just like all deadpan, and you see the picture, and there's like all these white lights in it, and you're like, what
And
the
then you see-
fuck? And you're like, fuck, it was real. Like, it's kind of, I agree with that. There's a cool element to that where it's like, it was also there the whole time, but no one knew to look for it. There's also a cool element where you touched on where it's like,
You're part
the
of it.
wronged, well, and maybe, but it's like there's a wrong that happened.
Oh, yeah.
And the person has to figure out what the wrong was and why the ghost is there and to rectify it. Like, that is a
correction.
cool part about, like that is a cool part about the ghost thing where it's like, ghosts seem evil and scary and bad, but in like 50% of them, maybe 70% of them, it's like, oh, the ghost just wanted revenge on its murder. You know what I mean? It's like, he's all right. The ghost is cool. Like, he's cool. He's just signaling us.
Sixth Sense.
Yeah.
I see dead people.
That was wild when you think about that movie.
So that hit us right. I bet there are movies before that was just completely obvious.
Of course, but
It's
it was
probably-
our age range. It's
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah, and it was our
and
setting
like
too.
Shyamalan.
Shyamalan.
Yeah, it was
Shyamalama.
Philadelphia. You know what's funny? I saw that in one of my only sold out theaters because I saw it the day it came out, and it was in AMC Orleans on like Common Ave or whatever, like in the Roosevelt Mall. And I remember I couldn't sit with my friends. It was the only movie this ever happened. 6 of us went, and there weren't 6 seats. So
You sound
2 of
alone.
us went over here me and Jeff, I think. And what was funny is in a fully crowded theater, I was like, hey, Dan, can you see the movie all right? And he said, yeah, blah, blah. And someone said, shut up to us. And I was like, I'm just checking on my friend. And everyone in the theater laughed. And it was like, I was a dickhead. I was like 13
transcends time.
or 10 or whatever the fuck I was.
Yeah.
But that movie really, really got me when I was like, oh, shit. And spoiler alert, folks. He's dead. What? Mind blown. It was well done.
Yes, it was well done. The ring rolling across the floor because she dropped it.
Yes, correct. And it's funny because that movie starts with him dying. Isn't that a Wahlberg too? One of his brothers or something? I think it is.
The weird guy that shoots him is a Wahlberg?
Yeah, I think it's a Wahlberg. I'm pretty sure. Strung out meth head or whatever he is. Oh no, he's one of his patients, right? I forget. Either way, we're probably butchering Sixth Sense at this point.
Okay.
But the point is, like, I think ghost stuff is cool, and I'm looking at the definition, and it's like a ghost is a soul of the spirit of a dead person or animal, which is kind of cool, that can appear to the living. In ghost lore, description of ghosts vary widely from invisible presence to translucent or barely visible, wispy shapes to realistic life forms. And I'm like, yeah, that's kind of cool. But it's like all about the past, right? A ghost is never from nowhere, right? It has to have a setting, a human setting.
Ghosts and demons, right? Like demons are not necessarily ghosts, but you think they have the same power. Like they could invade your mind essentially and warp it.
Okay.
I think that's the fear.
I guess, but like, what does a ghost do to you
Nothing.
physically? Well, it scares you, but why? Because it
Slams
appears
the
where it
doors.
shouldn't. Slams the door at you. I don't know.
Do you think
Like,
the
ghosts
voyeurs,
aren't
like the
out
people
here-
who want to be seen, are like, "Hey, I'll open the window for the ghosts." Like,
Wait,
do you think they
like
care? Is what I'm saying.
An exhibitionist?
The
Are you talking about?
exhibitionists, yeah. There's like a
Yeah,
ghost
they
is watching
to
them.
show off their sex moves, and they're like, "Yeah, bring in some ghosts."
Protoplasm.
They're whacking themselves, being like, "Yeah, ghosts, come on, check this out."
He's got a
Yes.
divining rod.
Yeah, that would be some.
Wow. Turning the sexual with ghosts tonight.
It did. Who would have thunk?
Yeah.
The other thing with ghosts is like everyone does have like a ghost story. How do you not have a ghost story? Like even I told the Kane story. Did you ever think you saw a ghost when you were a kid or something like that?
No, but there's always the weird thing of like a light turns on or like
Yeah.
there are moments when it makes perfect sense. Like electronics and stuff malfunction. So like there's one time my garage light was on and I heard a bump, but the door was locked. But I was like holding the door, like trying to figure out whether I should open it. And I was like trying to figure out what it could possibly be. Like I legitimately thought it was a person in there, but you open it up, it's just the light happens to be
Nothing.
on. It's nothing. There's usually like a mix of like things that like you're looking into like a dark space and you like see something It usually comes from like a dream, or like there's a fragment of like a dream reality kind of mix. It's like my fear was always like the basement, like trying to run up the steps when somebody was following me. So
Yeah. You always feel like something's about to close in on you when you turn off the light and have to go up the basement steps.
Yeah, possibly
that's
get away from it.
Oof.
The only time I thought that maybe like the good version of that, like a guardian angel, like my mom said, like if you ask a guardian angel what their name is, a name will pop into your head.
You told me this before.
Yeah.
You may have even been on the podcast. What was the name?
Helen. It's really weird that I don't know any Helens, but a Helen popped in my head. But I do like Helen Hunt. She's fabulous.
That's fair. I liked her in Mad About You.
Yeah.
Great show.
Yeah.
And Twister.
As good as
we'll
it
give
gets.
a shout out to Twister.
She's got a
And
lot
as
of
good
hits.
as it gets.
She better not be dead.
I think
Hope
we
she
named
doesn't.
all of them.
Yeah.
That's it. Did she listen to the podcast?
I hope. Do you have you ever done that? I think I asked you that to do it, but I don't know if you did.
You did. I think I did it on camera, and I don't remember if I came up with an answer. Did I say like Steve?
It was
or
like
something
your
really
aunt or
boring?
something. Your dead aunt.
Really?
I think it was. Ugh.
Oof. So, one time, and this is the weirdest memory I have. You talk about guardian angels. I was riding my two-wheeler, and it was a Huffy in my driveway, and I remember I should have fallen off my bike head first because I hit something and lost control, but I somehow was back on my seat, and in my head I thought I flipped all the way and landed, which is impossible. But anyway, I think I told my mom, and she was like, "It was your guardian angel," and I was like, "Maybe, Mom."
Your mom's just
whatever the
tired
hell
of your shit.
She's like, maybe he's full of crap again, but I don't know. Like, think of that. But,
How long did you believe in Santa Claus for?
I forget what grade I was in. I remember because all the kids in grade school would talk about it. Like, it's not possible. My one really smart best friend was like, actually, if you went through different time zones, it would be possible if you could slow down time. And I was like, what? I think it was in first grade. And I was like, yeah, Hank, go off, King. Hank was like giving me some science for Santa. And I was like, I believe still. But probably within a year or two of first grade. I don't remember which year it was. In fact,
Science.
I actually know what it was. I kind of didn't believe in Santa, but like, I'm not going to call my parents out or anything, like, because I'm in third grade or second grade. And my parents were like, "Hey, Nikki, do you want to help wrap the presents? I don't want your two sisters to know Santa isn't real." And I was like, "Oh yeah, I got you. And like, I just remember going with it and being like full send, like, yeah, we're good. But like, and that's literally how they gave me the sex talk. I remember they were like, "Hey, Nick,
I don't want to show your two sisters."
well, no, they literally said that. They were like, "Hey, like when you give that talk when you're old enough and everything," and I was like, "Oh, yeah," and they're like, "You know all that stuff, right?" And I was like, like awkwardly, like, yeah, and they're like, "How should we tell your sisters?" And I was like, you just gotta do what you gotta do. Like I was in like fourth grade or something, and they were like, "Yeah." And I think it was their way of just seeing if I knew and not really asking, and just, you know what I mean, like gauging me and being like, "Okay, thanks." So like that's how it works, dude. You kind of just, hey, what should we tell your sisters?
I think what you're getting into is that the unexplained is what pops into your head. If there's something you can't, like, there's no scientific fact about it, you can't reason it through, you expect there
Is it
to
all
be
bullshit?
a protector
Is it all
or like
bullshit?
a dementor. Yeah.
Is it all bullshit?
I don't know. I think when I was younger,
You're a
I
man
felt
of
like
science, dude. You're a man of science. You love facts and logic. I think you wanted to. Didn't you apply for a thing to marry facts and logic?
they didn't want me.
The relationship was not mutual.
Yeah. No,
It wasn't logical.
I love these things that like you can't put your finger on.
Prove
Like
or
you can't,
disprove.
yeah, because it's really a matter of faith whether you believe in ghosts. But people don't like pester you on it. They're like, "Oh, you don't believe in ghosts? You should believe in ghosts. Like these are my ghosts. Like check out my ghosts. Like, here's a pamphlet.
Unexplained.
These
You
are
ever
all
seen
ghosts."
this? Listen, my cousin saw one actually turn on a light switch, and it literally scared everyone at the party, and everyone screamed. And a cake broke, and another light switch turned on, and a door closed. And it's like, whoa, that's pretty. Whoa. Like that would be crazy if that happened, but I feel like the facts aren't all straight here.
Yeah, the person's not straight. Their mentality is warped.
Well, and here's the problem: everyone has a cell phone, right?
Yeah. You would have thought that they would have taken... So that's another thing, is the revolution of technology makes it so that like all of the aliens and like the
Bigfoot,
yeah,
Loch
Bigfoot,
Ness, all those
the
guys,
mysteries.
dude, all the homies. There's a smaller and smaller window for them to exist. I guess theoretically they could still exist, but
Man, bear
that window is pretty goddamn tight.
What are we gonna do about it now, Nick?
I don't know.
No, yeah, that's sad. Like, the one thing. What about aliens? Like, aliens is the one thing that, like, if you can't take a picture of it on Earth, like maybe something exists, but it's not on Earth. It's like maybe it takes a long time for them to find us. If an alien is here, maybe they're more advanced and you don't see them.
All right,
Maybe it's
we'll
all
check
those things
this.
of like signs, and you like they blur into the background, and you go, "Whoa, what?"
Okay, so the only issue I have is from playing No Man's Sky. If like literally it takes like 44 hours at light speed. Let's even say their
so
technology's that great.
Yep.
They do 44 hours of driving, right? They
They're
get to a
tired.
planet.
Yeah.
Even if they're not tired, dude, then what? They're in the atmosphere, then they go pick a guy, and then they got to drive 44 hours again?
No,
to
no.
go
They got a
somewhere?
base in their ship. They just do all their own
Where is
dissections.
it? They have bases here on Earth.
No. Their whole ship is a base. They just
Okay, I understand that, but then after the abduction, what do? They go home?
probe.
After the probe, what do?
They experiment. And
After the experiment and they put the person back, what do?
they wipe his memory like a Men in
No,
Black.
what do? What are the aliens doing?
They're
That's
just-
what I'm asking you.
I guess they're going back then. I guess they're...
Going back where? 44 hours the other way? That's a big commute.
Maybe they got other plans to check. Just go, okay.
What other planets? It's going to take 44 hours to get to the next nearest planet. It doesn't make sense. It's just a boring, really long commute. It just seems sloppy. Like,
So you're
no,
telling us
it's
the
not.
aliens that we're going to get are like the government workers of that alien civilization. It's just like, another one. I'm tired of this. And they just, they
How
stamp
would
the
we-
book and they
how-
say, I was here. I got 5 humans today. I'm tired of it. Tired of this
Yeah.
shit. They always go,
That's a long commute. I don't think it would fly anywhere. I mean, what's the pay? Are they getting paid more than any other creature on their civilization? Maybe. I don't know. But then are you paying for that much information about a probe in some farmer's asshole?
So the thing is, like, we discount this tremendously, but what if there was an alien invasion? Do you think
Right.
they would destroy us before we even were like, oh, aliens exist? We wouldn't believe it.
Well, what do they want ultimately? They want our resources? Then yeah, probably. Do they want us? Because maybe they could use us for something?
Yeah,
Then
one of
no. I
those
mean, they
things.
enslave us or whatever. They got to do one of the two, I guess. I don't know. So what we're talking about before you sidetrack me? You're such a sidetracker. Sidetracker.
Sorry.
It's the unexplained, the stuff we can't explain. Like everyone has a story about like the great Aunt Miriam saw a light one time when her husband was dying and he coughed up a sausage he was choking on and it saved his life. And you're like, that's amazing, Aunt Miriam. I can't believe that you saw a light, he coughed up the sausage and he didn't die. But I don't know. It just, like, even my girlfriend has a story. I think where the night her Nana passed, I think like she saw her image in a dream and she said play the lottery number, and they played the number and they won like $700 and they swear by it. And I'm like, I guess, I don't know.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't she just give you more money or like give you the lottery number every night, or like, I don't know, didn't she pick a higher number, like a higher winnings? I don't know.
So I guess the rebuttal here is the people who actually like go the lengths after they believe they see ghosts, like the Winchester Mansion, like the woman who was
I
married
looked
to
up-
the person who invented that and killed
Yeah.
I don't know how many Indians, but like she believed that all the Indians were like trying to follow her in her house, so she built these rooms that just went nowhere, and like all these different hallways and passageways so that she could evade all the ghosts.
Sounds like a scariest house anyway, regardless of ghosts.
You're making it worse.
Good Lord, you're making a scary house, lady.
Fun.
Now, I do believe in energies. Let's say you literally killed 1,000 indigenous people somewhere within, like, I don't know, a quarter of an acre.
It changes
right?
you. It must. It has to.
What if it's, I'm not even talking about you. What about a house? Would it change a house? I mean, a house is just materials, but I also feel like that's fucking.
So this is like a
something
Vsauce thing where like you have a smell, you have a eminence.
Did he do one on this?
Yeah. Well, this is your like how do you perceive people and how much do you persist, and then like you give off this like radiance that like exists in the galaxy along with your noise and all this stuff. But like if someone has been in a room and they leave that room and then you enter the room, like immediately, well, if they're in the room you see them, right? If they're walking away from the room you can hear them even though they're not in the room. If they were just in the room and you sit down where they were, you can feel their warmth or their scent. So like you can sense that someone was there. But there's other like forms, like sharks can like sense like EM radiation, so they can like see you essentially with a the spectrum we can't see.
Correct.
But maybe we can sense that in some ways, but we just don't know it. So like
so how long would it stick around though? Like so you're saying their EM radiation or their electromagnetism or something, some other element is left behind.
So maybe there are pieces we don't understand that we can sense, like if.
But wouldn't you feel that from other normal people? And wouldn't you get that when you walk into the DMV and thousands of people were walking in and walking out?
Do you ever
you would essentially get the same feeling, wouldn't you?
Do you ever get a feeling that someone's watching you and you look up and you stare right at them?
Yeah.
How? How is that possible? Like if they're behind you and you like do the quick turn, like the fast turn, and they're already, they don't even move.
Already, they're starting to look away?
They're already, they're like, they make eye contact, but they're like, what? Oh, God.
Oh, caught me.
How is that possible?
I've seen studies, I've read studies on this, and they're like kind of inconclusive results. And I don't know what it is. I think they know what it isn't. It's not like electro, I don't know.
I think it exists. So that like that's, I think you can sense other people, and I think you can sense when other people have like passed away in a space.
So, okay, that's a different thing. That's a whole different thing than what you were just talking about.
Staring that's a big jump.
At people, you can sense, and that's whatever. You might be onto something. So you can tell when someone died in a room. Why would that be? Do you think you release something when you die? Do you think there's a soul element?
I think it's like a half-life decay of your body that you can like sense. Like, oh wait, I just got hit with a piece of radiation from that half-life decay. Like their bones.
That it's a death decay.
You don't. So, like, maybe the human body can sense something. That, like, you're on an Indian burial ground and, like, it's just, like, emitting something that you pick up. Like, I think you definitely could smell death. Like, death is very distinct.
Okay.
But
I wouldn't disagree with that. I agree.
Like, if someone had been a part of, like, do you think they can impress themselves on things, on objects? Like, that's, like, a Horcrux type of thing. Like,
if you die on a thing?
Yeah.
Do you think it is...
Do you think the sword of like a great warrior who has killed multiple people? Do you think that had like you hold it and it feels differently, like you sense something from it?
Versus a new one? I don't know. That's a great question. And there's probably is there even a way to test it? I guess are the atoms on it different? Are they aligned differently? Is there extra atoms of the deceased on it? Like not enough that you would be able to see it or smell it, but that you would be able to know they're there in some intrinsic way.
I don't know. I kind of want to have this test. Have replica swords, and someone like tries to figure out which one is. So
you want to go? You want to do the goddamn TV show with the scientific ghost show?
Yeah.
But you have a new way to do it.
Yeah.
That wouldn't be a bad idea.
No,
I would watch the whole show.
Yeah, I actually would. Yeah, that'd be cool. Like, has a person died like around the side of him? Like, yes or no? Do you know?
Cool.
Like, we do know that someone died on the side of him. The floor is lava. Run, jump.
Kind of hilarious.
But I think regardless, I think you can sense people. I think people leave a mark, and for some reason you stop moving. But hopefully you'll come back.
What?
Oh, there you go. You came back
right here.
Okay, good.
Oh, word. I was like, it didn't even blip for me. Didn't even blip.
Strange.
Not even a blip. Not even a blip.
But I think you can sense people. I think they leave something, and I think you can pick up on it.
Or dying itself releases a different something that we can sense.
Like electrical
kind of like
impulse.
the way being born actually leaves a scent or a feel or a thing. I don't know.
How did you feel your child being born? Did you sense it?
Yeah, So I was in the room when my grandmother died, and it was like 5 of us all around her, and she was doing the labored breathing, and she had cancer and all that.
I said
And
born. You said birth.
No, I know, but I'm mentioning
Oh,
this
I've
because
never
it's
heard the
similar.
story. We've heard this.
So when she actually passed, it was so weird because without anyone moving positions, there were 5 or 6 people in the room, and then there was one less. There was one less person in that room, but no one had moved. No one had changed positions. We were all like standing around, like holding arms or hugging or whatever it was. I don't even 100% remember. But like
tension in her body that's released or something.
I guess it was weird, dude, because it was like there are 5 people here, and then like a minute later, I was like, there are only 4 people here, and I could feel that. It's similar to when my son was born. Before he cried, like I guess as he cried, I'm not 100% sure, but like they took him out because it was C-section, and it was like there's a whole new person here. Like there's literally a new life.
Yeah, but that person was always there. He was just inside somebody else.
But it felt different. I don't know. Like it was like there was a new person in the room. Like if someone walked in, it was like, how many people we got in here? They got to count differently. You know what I mean? I don't know.
You don't think you can sense the nurses and doctors as they pull the baby out, and like once there's this sigh of relief, that the tension in the room's gone?
It could be, and that may be part of it. But literally, there's also just that weird fact that now there's an extra person in the room. Now there's one less person in the room. So there is something that gets left behind, or a person emanates that isn't just their sight, smell, sound, whatever. There has to be an extra thing.
So like in my mind, the visuals of like my son being born, like I forget what they call it, that one
he
line.
Walked out, right?
Yeah,
right?
he's fine.
Second one, he walked out. No, he walked.
He's like a swordsman, musketeer, Zorro. No, but like that line of like when they breathe in like oxygen for the first time, like it starts to like move up their body, and I got to watch that like happen where like you could see the life like filling up his body, like his health bars, like but like it was really weird because he's in a shock mode where he's silent until it like hits his shoulders, and then he cries.
Because lungs, right?
Yeah.
I guess.
Kind of like he gets moving, but that is like the most closely related thing I can tie to like
that's
opposite
why
of death.
I mentioned my grandmother dying, because like it did feel similar, just opposite, if that made sense.
I don't know. I'm kind of curious if like nurses have the same thing. Like the nurses that were like taking care of like when my children were born.
And stuff?
Well, either reverse, either way. Like they're so intertwined with that like life, birth, death cycle that like maybe they feel it more, or maybe they don't. Maybe they just like it just becomes
some do, some don't.
routine.
I don't know. Wow. Well, what about haunting? If I were to kind of round it out, like, so I think I said 50 to 60% of our stories are about like what went wrong or someone was wronged, and that's why haunting happens. But like, is that all of them? Maybe even like, why else is there a ghost? It's not like she lived a great life, she passed quietly in her sleep, she had 3 grandchildren. Anyway, we remember her and had a great day. Like, it's not like she's haunting people. This is Rosemary or whoever. Like, she's not coming around rattling chains, going woo, woo. Like, it's always someone whose family member was murdered, or they were murdered, or something weird happened, or do you know what I mean?
So this goes back to like the essence of like Halloween, and then I think Halloween is supposed to be like kind of like a level of purgatory. So the people who are being judged, right, are not allowed to pass on to the positive or the negative, heaven or hell. So like they're in limbo.
Stuck in neutral.
Limbo is the place where ghosts come from, right? The ones that haunt us, supposedly.
Yeah, I guess so. But, no, I would 100% agree with that.
Beetlejuice.
Well, don't say that, dude. But do you ever? Oh, how about that? Like, dude, do you ever do that stuff? Like, alone in a mirror, say Bloody Mary 3 times in a mirror or something. Yeah. Did you do that?
Yeah, of course.
I was way too afraid. I think I did it like twice, and I like wet my pants and ran away.
Do you think? I don't know. That's the one thing, is that psychologically, I guess it's different. If you completely don't believe any of it, well, this is the problem, is that movies the person who doesn't believe any of it, they're the person who dies first, right?
Always. Yeah.
So, like,
this is some bullshit.
there's a kernel of, like, even if you don't believe it, this is a form of brainwashing. Even if you don't believe it and you say it, it's going to be as like a kernel in your brain, and then when you go to sleep, like, it'll realize itself in your brain.
It'll linger.
Yeah. I think the scariest thing that happened to me, like the scariest real thing, was that I was in bed. I woke up in the middle of the night. I went to reach my phone, and I was just like half asleep. I hit the first video to listen to a video, and then I heard talking outside of my door, and I put my phone down, and I was like, that couldn't be real. And then I just sat up. I sit up and I look around. I try to like make sure that like I can't hear like wind, because like if they broke a window to get in, I like listen to the wind. And I was just listening for that, but they kept talking, and I was like, there's definitely someone talking. Like, I think someone broke in. And what I realized, like, as my heart started like beating and I was sweaty, is that my Bluetooth speaker was attached to my phone, and I was listening to a video with sound.
Good one. that would mess you up.
Oh, fuck you. Yeah, fuck you. That would fuck you up.
Fuck you up, man. Fuck you up. The scariest thing that happened to me recently, because I probably had scarier stuff, but I think I mentioned it. My garage door, like, something's wrong with it.
Okay.
It'll open or close randomly, usually once every 4 months.
Someone has your code.
I know that sounds like
from you. I said
you
this
would
before.
think, but it was once every 4 months. Now it's like once every 5
They're
minutes.
checking to
so I
see
just
if any
unplug
money,
it.
and they go, nope. They keep going.
And it was like 2 a.m., and I thought I heard the garage door open, and it was raining.
Oh, man.
Dude, fucked me up. It was like November, so it was around this time of year, or whenever this gets released. But I walked down. I like opened my eyes. It's like 2 a.m. I'm the only one up. I turn on the lights. I opened the garage, or the door to the garage, to see if it was open. Mm-hmm. Yep, wide the fuck open. Pouring rain outside. Hello? Yeah. Like a wiener. I was just saying, hello?
Stab me right now.
Someone say something? And like I'm looking around the garage, and every figure, every stored box, every old toy we had, I was like, is someone hiding behind all these things? And it was just the most surreal thing, because I could hear the rain going. I could see no one's footprints, no one's anything. And I was like, maybe the garage door just opened again. Like, what do you do? Close it, dude. Lock the door and go back to bed.
Well, there's that sense of your brain like trying to avoid risk. Like that one story you heard of someone breaking in through the garage door. It's like that's there. And you and I are both physically able, strong males in the middle of our lives, so we're capable of defending ourselves for the most part.
Not behind, like,
not in the dark.
A surprise attack.
Yeah.
When someone has a weapon. You never know. That's still scary.
That's true. If someone has a weapon, we're screwed. If someone has a knife, run. If someone has a gun,
oh hell yeah,
also run.
Also run.
But I knew, I still know, a woman who was about our age, who she lived alone in a house by herself, and I think she was working out or something in her house, and she heard a window break. So she ran to see what happened, and she saw someone crawling in her window. So she ran into her master bedroom and into her bathroom and locked the door. And then that person was like rifling through her stuff really quickly as she was behind the door, like bracing the door, hoping they wouldn't bust it through. So I don't know if she said anything about like I'm calling the cops. Like I'm sure she did, but it's like that same story. If it happened to me, like you and I would probably like confront the person. Yeah,
depending, especially as they're crawling. Not like after they get in, because you don't know what's going on, but as they're prone and trying to crawl into your window,
kick them in the face. Yeah.
Yeah, you go right up to them and say, what the fuck?
Drop kick them out the windows if you can.
If you can.
But
yeah, there's different levels of scary there.
This the level of fear is like, I don't know that we can understand the level of fear that, like, you know, this woman was like a 5 foot nothing, like she has no recourse.
No, and you know what? That fear you feel when you're like 6 years old and you're running up the basement steps and the lights are out.
Yeah, watch your ankles because it's going to get you.
That's the strongest fucking feeling in the world. It really compels you. You couldn't stop if you wanted to.
So what's your favorite, I guess, figment of your imagination? Or like, the best. So like mine is zombies. Like the thing that people invented to be like the scary thing. Even though zombies are kind of mockable, I think it's the most real. Because it's zombies eat your brain. So zombies are really like. This is my current interpretation of it, is that there are people who don't believe anything, who are hungry for stuff, and they constantly want to take away your knowledge. They want to break you down and eat you up. And they come in hordes. So like this is like, someone calls you a heretic and there's a mass of people, and like people, is it a person is smart, people are dumb?
Yeah.
And there's more to that quote. But if you have a group of people like attacking you for no reason, they just assume that you're like, you deserve whatever you're going to get. It's like there's hard ways to die, to be torn apart by like a mass of people. Like your faith in humanity is ruined there. And also you can't fight. Like if someone outnumbers you, they just force you into horrible conditions.
But it is only either a matter of time, a matter of ammo, a matter of location, a matter of distance before you lose.
Yes. They're everywhere. You can't avoid them.
Yeah, I could see that. I think
You don't have one of your favorite?
No, I don't think I do. I don't have a favorite.
A favorite creature? Like it?
I think
clowns?
No, not clowns. I'm not a clown guy. How about like, I still think aliens creep me out. I don't know.
I think because aliens can really take any form.
Well, no, I don't like the like gray, greenish, like big-headed ones that don't talk and don't do anything, because like
they're inert.
Yeah, I don't like that. It's like, oof, just attack me or something. Stop looking at me with your big black eyes.
You got a clipboard, this is recording everything you do.
Yeah, like that's. Oof. Yeah, they want to record you more than anything, and that's, I don't know. That's
judging.
Creepier.
Stop judging me.
That's my butthole. It's beautiful. I don't like any of them.
I think it's all about loss of control, really. So you don't have any power against these imaginary things. I think that's where all these like chants and incantations and stuff come from. It's supposed to protect you.
It's also how we started talking about the episode, the hauntings. Like you're haunted by it. Like it almost feels like a bad decision come back to you. A bad one wrong move has come to get you.
Mm-hmm.
Like we had talked about, you can be haunted by things. You can be haunted by these creatures. You can be haunted by things you didn't do. Yeah. Things you did do.
I think the worst is that, like the actualized worst is when you can't forgive yourself for things. Which I think is the most haunting thing, is when you do something wrong towards other people or towards yourself. And like
you killed someone, dude?
Can't grapple. Yeah. It breaks your sense of
someone. You're like,
structure.
Oh, my bad. No, you can't really. I don't know how you come back from that.
Yeah, if your foundation gets shattered and you're just like, well, this is like beyond anything I ever thought I would do.
Yeah. How do you... I don't know if you can come back from that.
I don't know. I don't know. So why did you want to talk about haunting?
I forget. It was like weeks ago.
Long ago.
It was so long ago. I just thought there was a lot of room to talk about it, and like what we just talked about, where you can beat yourself up about stuff. Haunting is, it's almost an emotion, a feel, like that running up the steps when you're 6.
Mm-hmm.
That regret that, I mean, you don't get time back. Like the cool thing about a ghost story is you can resolve it, but really the scary part is you can't. It's over. It happened. It's bad, and it's too late. You don't get to go backwards and fix it.
So what about the reverse of that? Is that, so when we're young, we're told ghost stories and they're like scary to us. What about the old person who like wants to be remembered by like making an impression? It's like maybe the only way he can make that impression is by leaving a story that's so scary that it gets retold
over and over and over again. So his way to be remembered is telling you a ghost story. Interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know.
How about what scary stories I tell in the dark? What was that? No, what was that, Nickelodeon?
Are you afraid of the dark?
Are you afraid
of the dark? Yeah. Saw dough. No, mister. Accent on the dough. That guy?
I don't remember
you would recognize his picture. It was the dude who he was a recurring character.
Pinball wizard. Which ones do you remember of that
He
show?
was probably in the Pinball Wizard. Almost none of them. We've talked about the one on the show, Lizard People.
Oh yeah, there's like a pool of eggs,
Yeah.
and then like discover them. I love it because it's so I don't know.
Well, it was also the age range, the time. That was on Snick,
Goosebumps,
right?
yeah.
Like, yeah, late night. I used to read Goosebumps. Hell yeah, man. What was
The puppet?
Slime
Mary.
in the Basement? No, I remember the puppet one. I didn't.
Chucky.
What's in the basement? Slime in the Basement? Oh, dude. I can remember the covers to the books, oddly enough. What's under the sink? What's in the closet? Like, they're all like
very
really
relative,
cryptic.
yeah.
And they were like things that you experience in your own house.
Relevant,
like
yeah.
R.L. Stein.
What's in the cupboard?
Did you ever read scary actual books, like for adults, not just children? Dean Koontz and like what's his name? How am I forgetting the number one?
Oh, Stephen. I was gonna say.
Thank you,
King.
King. Yeah.
Stephen Hawking. Stephen King. There are a lot of What's the
Salem's
scariest?
Lot was pretty scary, but I think Salem's Lot was a good one. That one was really good. It was like the whole town's like vampires and like your children laughing in the background, and it's like cold wind everywhere, and like people were dying and people were losing energy and getting weaker every day, and no one knew what was going on. Like that's creepy stuff. His best book was like The Stand, which is like a 900-page book. I remember I read that, and it was essentially a plague that just wiped over the earth, similar things going on, but it literally like would kill people within 3 days of them having it. And that was a cool book. I like The Stand. But like those authors, it's writing a scary book is way different than a scary movie.
Is it?
Do you know what I mean?
It is Stephen King, right?
Yeah, it was Stephen King. I never read it.
I never read it either.
I wonder if It Too or whatever was based on a book, or if they just made the sequel to the movie. I actually don't know.
It's split up. Like, you're talking about the second part of it?
Yeah.
It's like they have the kid version, and then when they grow up, it's like it is still persisting because it's every 27 years.
What a round off number.
Yeah.
But again, that's funny too, because there's a folklore to it. Like that's what hauntings are. You just mentioned how it's like an old guy around a campfire. Mm-hmm. It's something that won't go away either. It's like every 18 years this happens. Once a year on the red moon, something happens. I think there's something cool about that. Like it's like
Dead by Daylight, those people. Like the villains, and then the campsite, Mike Myers, Halloween. Those are all the
cyclical.
problem. They're cyclical, and they always come back, and they never die. But it's always rooted in some sort of like religious bias against something. Like it's always like the kids fooling around. Like whenever a girl would be like nude in the beginning, like she's getting killed.
Well, I don't know that it's rooted in that. I think it happens when they're doing that. It happens when you're being bad. I don't know that it's happening because they're being bad. Like, you know what I mean? But like, it's happening because it's happening. But it'll take advantage of you if you're being naughty in the woods.
You're not paying attention and doing the bad stuff.
If you're not paying attention, like we told you. I don't know. I feel like I'll never be a person that believes in ghosts. It's just not my thing. But I want to, and I like to hear people's versions of ghost stories. Or hotels that are definitely haunted, you know?
I always love, so this brings me back to, like, This Is Dan Bell. Like, he usually explores, like, dead malls or urbex.
Yeah.
He did, like, dirty hotels, and then he did also, like, haunted hotels. And, like, some of the haunted hotels, like, I could understand because they're built in such a way that they're, like, kind of shoddy, shaky, like, the wind, and, like, things, like, you don't get a good sleep. So, like, I could imagine if you went to one of these hotels. Yeah, if you went to one of these hotels and stayed like a week and you don't get any sleep, by the end of it, your delirium is going to take over, and you're going to imagine all this like random stuff. That's the other part that we haven't touched on, is that your brain like naturally comes up with all these scenarios. And if
worst case risk.
Yeah, if you're on drugs or you don't sleep, it's like lack of sleep for like 3 days is equivalent to like getting hammered. So like your delirium is off the charts, and you're like just fabricating all these things that are happening, and you're just like, what's going on? Messes with you. And when he actually like has videos of all that stuff, like you can hear how freaked out he is. Like he's like, I want to get out of here right now. And it's really like the places he goes are really weird. Like it's set up really strangely, like lobbies with no.
Also, it's also funny that it's an hyperbolic. Panic starts slow, but it goes real fast, and then yes, thank you, and it just pushes you faster and faster, and all of a sudden you went from like 0 to 1,000,000 in fear and panic and whatever. So it feeds into it. All you need is a little bit of doubt, a little bit of erosion, a little bit of what was that, and you're gone.
Yeah. So you don't have a favorite like horror story? Like the two I touched on are the Paranormal Activity, because it's very relative. It's like the R.L. Stein. It's like, and down in the kitchen, in your bedroom. It's like, those things draw you in, and then it could be in your own house that scares you. And then The Conjuring, just by the way it unfolds, like the way I like how it's like fast reason and just like
paced,
methodical in a way, and then it's like I like it when it's not like the classic horror where like, let's all split up. It's like, I like when it's like, let's all band together as hard as possible as a group, and like we're still gonna fail. I like that.
Because it's different than when they get separated and get picked off one by one. It's almost like agonizing. You're like, why would you do that? Why would you go there? Why would you do that? Why would you do that?
Yeah. Go into the shed with all knives and farming implements.
I'm just gonna go into the shed.
Let's hide under this hay bale.
Yeah. No, I agree.
You don't have one? You don't have like one horror movie that you're just like...
I don't like horror as a genre. I don't like ghosts. Let me think.
What is your favorite? You don't have a favorite mythos? Or just like... You said like Loch Ness or Sasquatch. Like not even like... I think you picked the jokey one.
Them.
You don't even believe them. You said aliens.
Like they're aliens are creepy. No, I don't know.
Like War of the Worlds? Like these things are already here?
That one was really cool, actually, but I only like... Here, this is what happens to me in most of these movies, genres, clips, ideas. I only like the first third of the movie. Like the build-up. The really scary where you don't see any bad guys. Yeah, 100%. Independence Day, War of the Worlds, which you mentioned. First third of that movie, oh my god, fucking awesome. Like, there's lightning, and they're like, yeah, this is the craziest thing. The wind is going towards the storm. And it's just such a cool setup. And, like, all the lightning strikes in one spot, and no one knows what's going on. And I love that shit. Like, that mysterious, unexplained shit. It's when the movie or the book or the genre tries to explain it and give you their creature. Yeah. It kind of falls flat sometimes. Like, it's not perfect.
Well, like War of the Worlds, I remember the movie with...
Tom Cruise. TC, baby.
So, like, at what point did that fall flat for you? Because, like, there's a realization there that like, this doesn't match up with what it should be.
Same spot it did with Signs, right? Signs was awesome until you saw the aliens, kind of, and it was like... But with the War of the Worlds was when I think they, like, started going through his house, the aliens were. And, like,
the thing with, like, the giant arms, like the Matrix.
Yeah, and everyone had to be quiet and everything, and I was like...
It's just
like, it was
tedious.
cooler before that. Yeah, it does. And it feels like, okay, they wiped out like 5,000 buildings in 8 seconds, and now they're going to quietly comb through this house, and you're just going to whisper and be quiet, and they're not going to catch you? Like, I don't know.
It's going through my office cabinets and checking my taxes and making sure I paid them all.
It's like, come on.
Come on, man.
Ooh, a tax evader checking it off. Yeah, there's a point where the creator, the author, the director has to take it in a direction to drive it home.
Personal,
it's not
slow it down, change the pacing.
Well, yeah, they just, even if they have to show you the bad guy or show you the ghost or show you the alien or show you the monster, there's something you lose. I think it's just scarier when you don't see it. It's building up.
What about Shyamalan, The Village? Did you see that one?
I did. That one. Who was...
Do you remember it?
I remember it ends up being like just in a road off the turnpike, which is hilarious.
Spoiler.
That was the kicker on that one. Yeah. Spoiler for
is that the monster was created to keep them in this little enclave.
Yes, that's right. Okay, yeah. And like it's cool, but like at that point I'm like, cool twist, but yeah, not scary anymore. It's not a scary movie.
Are there any scary movies? Oh, Event Horizon?
I don't 100% recall Event Horizon. I watched it in college, drinking and doing all sorts of stuff. And isn't there one scene where the dude's eyes come out? And,
Yes.
Yeah.
People
I feel like I would enjoy the hell out of that, but I don't want to get scared. I don't like to watch those movies.
Oh, it freaks you out. So I love that movie. I saw that when it's on the same thing as like Sphere, where it's like you go to this place that is isolated, that is supposed to be like your Event Horizon. It's like what you go in too deep and you can't get out, so you get pulled into it. And like in Event Horizon, they're on this ship, and I think they're trying to like contact this other ship that was lost. And when they finally like mate with
they find
catch
the ship,
up to it,
it's empty, right?
Yeah, it's empty, and then they find people in like hard conditions, and like someone cut out their eyes, and they don't know why. But then like they slowly like start to drift into this like weird space where they can like see these things that they don't want to see, and it starts to make sense that like they would do all of these things to avoid it. But it's like you have that like giant spinning like sphere thing that's like kind of controlling what they're seeing. And then it's like it's like you dip your toe into hell, and then you're like don't want to go any deeper,
go
but
any
you can't.
further, but you're
You're
there.
slipping. Yeah, you're sinking into the pit, and then like it's at that point it's like, do you like can your brain handle all of the awfulness that like hell is capable of
in your own brain?
Yeah, and yourself is capable
too?
of, or do you just want to like end it and get out? Like,
Do other animals even experience this kind of feeling?
Existential dread and like fear.
Yeah. Can they?
I don't know. My dog, when she sleeps, she kicks like crazy. Like I'm wondering if she's
That's
like
not
running away.
existential dread.
I'm sure it is. I'm certain of it. The way she kicks, there's no only one way.
She's feeling the pull of hell.
We must chastise her and bless her in the heart of the Holy Spirit. Rip out that heart. Get it. Get that heart.
The Exorcist and shit.
Yeah.
That's a good one, The Exorcist. Huh.
I don't know. I don't know. I think I like this because did you play? This is a long tangent from where we started. But like Dead Space, did you play those games?
No.
Like Resident Evil kind of style?
I know exactly what Dead Space is, and I think it would have been cool and I would have enjoyed it, but I think it would have like scared me a little bit. So I was like, nah.
I'm afraid of it. I'm scared.
Well, like, so okay, this is what I equated to. Silent Hill, the scariest part of that game, was when I was wandering around the hallways, and it would be hell, it would be real life. There'd be a siren blaring for like 18 straight minutes. I didn't know where it was coming from. I didn't know what's in any room. Rooms change as you go room to room. All you have is a flashlight and a fucking radio. And I remember one time I was in this one room, and it was a locker, and it had all the lockers, and it was shaking. And I was like, fuck, I know I got to open that locker. That's... And there's literally like 80 lockers, but the one's shaking.
Potential.
There's blood under it. Oh, there's blood under it. Of course. What are you going to do? Guess what? We got to open the locker. So I walk over there. I'm ready for the fight of my life. And I open it, and it was shaking. And it goes, it's just a cutscene. And he walks back. He goes, oh! And he opens it, and there's just a locker filled with blood. There was nothing else there. There was no enemy. Nothing was in there shaking it. And I was like, what the fuck? Game. Why did you do that to me? Why did you do that? And then, you go outside and something attacked.
Jump scare.
But yeah. But when I opened that locker, nothing. Just a locker filled with blood. And I was like, that's cool. That stuff gets me.
I love it. I don't know. I don't know why I love that so much. I think the possibility. It's like you go and it's like dark humor. Like most people don't like dark humor, and then like I think that makes it so that you haven't like heard all the possible dark humor because so little people enjoy it. So like if you have 90% of the people on TikTok like blah 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 like shouting all what they think, like you've seen that before. Like someone has a video of TikTok of doing ridiculous shit because it's like in the basis of reality. But if someone's like doing dark humor and it's like there's so few people doing it that the possibilities are like you can go into more areas if you're allowed to go into more areas.
It's more taboo, so there's less fleshing it out. So there's more untold stories, more untold jokes, more untold things, more things that no one's actually said that might be friggin' hilarious, might be over the line. But might be hilarious, or might be crazy, or might be, whoa, that was nuts. I see what you're saying. Like there's fewer artists working in the medium, so it's like
how many
fewer
games?
material.
How many games like Silent Hill are actually out there that, you know, you are fully engaged in, like
Resident Evil, Parasite Eve. Oh damn, I was gonna name 4 in a row, but I couldn't. They're all big.
There aren't. Yeah, but those like there aren't. You probably couldn't name a dozen of those.
No, they kind of fallen by the wayside a little bit. It's weird. I'm sure all of it makes a comeback. That's cyclical too. Like horror isn't in right now, but I think
well, people don't like they don't like horror movies when bad things are happening. They just like them when it's like things are euphoric.
Happy. It could be. That makes sense. Man, I could go on forever if I didn't have to
wrap it up
and go to the restroom.
Yeah, you should probably do that as you're wrapping it up.
Wrap it up, folks.
So, did we cover anything? Not really, no.
We talked about haunting from all the different levels. You could be haunted because maybe you didn't buy the right stock a year or two ago. You could be haunted because you did the worst decision of your life and you got drunk and you ran someone over and now it haunts you for the rest of your life and they let you off after parole, but you killed someone. What do you do about that? That would be fun.
Wait, I'm going to stop you.
Yeah, go ahead.
What's the biggest opportunity that you passed by that you regret?
I don't think I have any.
You don't have any regrets? You just keep moving? You're in the now.
I mean, no. I mean, I have plenty of regrets, but they're all small regrets that I don't know that it would have changed my life one way or the other. It's not like I've been like, I've been a millionaire. Oh, geez, that Jeff Bezos guy, he was onto something. I should have went with him. Like, I don't have any of that. Like, I don't, you know what I mean? I don't have one that I'm like, whoa, that was the big one. It's more like 10 million mini regrets. That's it.
So you're saying, essentially, if you experience more of life, you have less to fear because the possibility of regrets changing you are smaller. The possibility
kind
is smaller.
of. Yeah. That makes actual sense because I mean, as long as you're experiencing various parts of life and doing various things in life, if you do regret it, like I don't know, doing something and regretting it is better than not doing it and regretting it. Does that make sense?
Indeed. Yep.
Fair.
I like
haunting. So we talked about things that haunt us, whether it's actual just boring stuff. Which, by the way, why aren't adults afraid of ghosts and stuff to the extent that children are?
I think there's so much left unknown in the mental structure of like an adult. Like they believe in the most ridiculous things, even though
they do. That's why I wonder why they aren't like I don't know any adults who are like, I'm terrified of ghosts. When I turn off the light, I have to run to bed. Is it? And it's a little bit. I make this joke to my son all the time. He's like, Dad, I'm scared to go downstairs, and I'm like, wait do you have to pay taxes and realize that life is terrible? Can I say that to him as a joke? Maybe you realize that a ghost wouldn't be as bad as like, I don't know, our ecosystem or like, you know what I mean?
Global warming.
Maybe. Yeah, like do you think it's a little bit that? A little tongue in cheek? You're like, yeah, I wish ghosts were real, pal.
They could fix all our problems.
I don't know.
Back to work. You're dead, buddy. Get back to work.
Get back to work.
I don't know. I feel like
I wish a ghost would kill my boss.
Regardless of like the foundation that I don't know. I feel like kids don't have that foundation, so anything's possible. And adults, whether their foundation is true or not, they have it regardless.
That makes sense.
And if their foundation is that ghosts are real, those people are insane. Like we don't see them because they get put in mental asylums.
Yeah, that's a good point. So we talked about hauntings like via bad decisions, hauntings via adults who believe in ghosts. We even touched on the different ghosts that appear in our lives, in our systems. Mm-hmm. There are even virtual ghosts. Did we discuss that at all?
No.
You ever have like Chico nuts in a system? Unexplainable, 100% in a computer system. Get this. One time my buddy Griff, he was using Rubicon where we make our quotes, we do our orders, sales, stuff like that. He makes a quote, and the quote said it was by our manager, Libby. So she's a manager. Like, she has extra power. She can do extra shit. He was like, why does it say that? And we checked the log, and it says Libby created the quote, Libby did this, Libby did this. And he was like, well, what the fuck's going on? And he was like, hey, Libby, it says I'm in as you from his computer. And they called IT and everything, and he was like, yeah, just log out and log back in as yourself. And he was like, yeah, but Libby's never even sat at my computer in her entire life. And he's like, yeah, just something happened, man. You were logged in as Libby for 15 minutes. And I was like, Griff, we could have just canceled everyone's quotes. We could have caused chaos. We didn't know, but how the fuck does something like that happen? You ever have shit like that happen?
I work in that field, so I just say that's a bug. We'll just put it in
it's
agile.
Bug. I know it's a bug, but I'm saying, are some bugs ghosts?
To some people.
Fuck you. Anyway, we talked about virtual ghosts. We talked about real ghosts. We talked about ghost stories. We talked about sitting around the campfire and sucking off ghosts. Every time you yawn, folks, you're opening your mouth for a ghost wiener. That's right. Oof.
Get a Slimer.
Talked about some horror movies and the horror genre. We talked about everything and anything, and we weren't pandering.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Me personally?
Yeah.
I liked it.
Ooh.
I liked it a lot.
Dirty.
And
folks, we like you. We like you a lot. Check our socials. We do this all the time. This is a regular occurrence. It's called a podcast. Thanks for listening. And you already said we like you. We like you a lot.
So good night.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Sleep tight.